One piece of our research that resonates with me is on racial bias in schools. 1 in 6 African American girls report experiencing racial bias from their teachers or school administrators. And I would argue that that number is probably higher than 1 in 6. If you think about it, this is self reported. And so these girls would have to be self aware enough and socially aware enough to recognize discrimination when they see it. There's also this element of self protection in not disclosing, even to oneself, that you've experienced discrimination in some way. But when I look at this data, it totally connects with my experience. So I went to predominantly white institutions for the entirety of my career as a student, and I quickly realized I did not fit in these spaces. And so in an effort to find a sense of belonging and to be what I was told was a good student, I learned to code switch. And I would take on ways of being and behaviors that I thought were proximal to whiteness. There's even a home video of me giving a show and tell, and my thick curly hair is pulled up into a bun, but you can still see me pushing the non-existent hair behind my ears, trying to mimic my white girl classmates who I knew had power. And their power wasn't simply symbolic. It was reinforced by our teachers, who placed white experiences and white culture at the center of our learning. There was one project in particular that showed up in multiple classes over multiple years, and that was to create a coat of arms made up of different symbols representing your ethnic origin. And this was before anything like Ancestry.com or 23andMe existed. And because of the lack of records that were kept about slaves, all I knew was that I was black. So my mom helped me design this coat of arms that was a black power fist in the shape of a question mark, which I thought was so great. And I presented this black power fist in the shape of a question mark to my second grade class. And my white peers had no idea what I was talking about in terms of the history. And my teacher made it worse by grilling me for details, like my lack of specificity indicated I had failed to complete the project. And that was just one way that my hypervisibility in the classroom and invisibility in the subject matter played out. Add that to being confused for Savannah, the only other black girl in my grade, being sent to the dean's office for refusing to stand for the pledge, and having extra credit questions in my physics class be, can you recognize this video game character? So that I could get extra credit in physics for knowing some unrelated aspect of white culture. So I am thrilled that this research is launching, that we are centering the voices of black girls, and that there's data to back up our lived experiences.